Welcome to In Deep, a podcast by Laura Eniver
and myself, Flick Parmentier. Join us as we dive deep into what it takes to break the mould and have the courage to step into the unknown.
because we're all certain to get stuck in some deep shit along the way. I'm kicking off our first ever In Deep Abroad episode. However, the funniest thing about this is that we're in the same country, but we're on different islands.
What? We're both in Hawaii. I'm on Oahu and Laura is in Kauai.
And we've had some major tech difficulties. We've actually, we've just been trying to work this all out, guys. As you have seen with our podcast, you're coming along for the ride as we grow and turn from like a home studio into eventually one day, imagine the lights, the studios, the proper microphones, everything.
Yeah.
But this is what we got for now. And this is classic.
Yeah. And we're figuring it out as we go. And we're not perfect. And here we are. So sorry if we butcher things and sorry if this isn't the best quality content out there. But we're learning. And we actually will probably need to learn Riverside. This is that we're using. And thanks to AJ today for letting us commandeer hers and me letting...
Yes, we're actually not even on our own. Yeah, we're not even on our own equipment or our own Riverside account. But... I've just come off a red-eye flight to Hawaii and Flick has just worked a 12-hour day commentating, and the last thing she probably wants to do right now is talk to me for an hour. But
lucky it's you, mate. Lucky it's you.
Know. Well, it's not just me. It's our whole community, whoever listens and watches.
This is true. This is true. But give us a little update, a rundown, Siso. What's been going on?
Oh my gosh, since we last chatted on here, we obviously missed a week on the podcast because you got pneumonia. You were so sick, but you also were still hosting the WSL Awards over in Hawaii last week. You absolute weapon. In the meantime, I was in Fiji going on my first shoot work trip of the year, doing like a tourism Fiji sort of thing. So that was amazing because I got to jump into the ocean for the first time since my injury. And holy shit.
How did it feel?
Oh, so good. It just made me realise how much not moving your body or being in the ocean or like doing those things that just bring me so much joy from nature have affected my mental health, just like not doing them the last sort of 5 weeks. And even though I've been moving and doing bits and bobs, just like to actually be swimming under the ocean again, and I got to even paddle around at Fiji and there was, some solid 4 or 5 foot waves there. Like I was scratching under them to duck dive and I couldn't stand up on my board because I still can't really bend my knee that much, but I could still paddle and like to get my heart rate up and stuff and just paddle. I was like, I just felt like a new woman. I just wanted to dance all day. Like the energy and the joy it brought me was just, I was like, okay, cool. I'm not going crazy. You just haven't been able to move for a while. And it just, made me realise if you're in a rut or if you're mentally just like stuck somewhere, and it's like that stagnant energy, we're all like we're like water. And if water sits there for a while, it gets stagnant and mouldy and gross. I don't know what word that was. So we're going to move. Anyway, so now I feel myself again. But then today I feel pretty crazy because we just came off a red-eye flight to Hawaii. And so I'm here for a wedding. I'm on Kauai, the other island from you. It's like a 30-minute flight from her island, but she's on Oahu. And, here for a friend's wedding. So we're super excited. All the girls are here as well, like our whole crew from home. So it'll be very fun. It's actually so beautiful here. Kauai is gorgeous. I haven't been here in like maybe 15 years or something. So I'm excited to just, check it out. Check out the island.
Hey, just don't go on any 10-kilometre hikes barefoot.
Oh, my God,
that the other day and
oh, my God,
well.
Wait, you went barefoot on a hike?
Okay, so basically, like you said, I got sick, right? I've been ping-ponging all over the joint and rightly so, my body was like, you've done too much. I got pneumonia the day I landed here. I didn't know I had pneumonia yet, but then had to host those awards that night. And that was so hard because I was just like, fuck, like, when you're hosting an awards night, and it was the first time I've ever hosted something serious like that. And I was like, way to kick it off, like host something. It's like 400 people in the room, live audience. I was like, and we only got given the script the day before. So on top of that, I was feeling so rough. Only got given the script the day before and then like was shitting.
And you actually didn't know you had pneumonia then, right?
No. I just thought, wow, you're getting run down. And then I was like, ooh, anyway, so I did that. And then the next day I just went, downhill so fast. Like I actually posted a bunch of stuff on Instagram and people thought that I'd really sent it because like I ended up at Taco Bell at like fucking, I don't know, 12 a.m. or whatever. But I was the Desi driver and I was taking my other drunk mates with me to Taco Bell. Anyway.
So everyone thought you got sick from that big night out. Like you're like, oh,
big bender for you, big night at the WSL Awards. And I was like, nah, it actually wasn't, brother. Anyway, so.
Isn't it so funny what people think through the screen? Like just like you're literally just like battling, but you're looking like a 10 out of 10 on this red carpet and like hosting and then,
Mate,
so lo and behold, I can't believe you had pneumonia. That's really serious.
I know. Well then, basically ended up on the antibiotics 2 days later and it took a full week and I haven't been out like that for a long time, like with a sickness. And so a full week and I was finally feeling recovered, but like you just said, you know, when you haven't done anything for ages and I'm used to moving my body, I was just like, fuck, like I just want to move. So then we had this idea that we'd go on this hike. And we're like, it's called Canada Point and you hike around from one side around to the west side and it's basically 10 kilometers. One of our friends, Kit, was like, yeah, I've done this before. It's sweet. It's a mellow beach hike, like, but she confused smooth with flat. And like, basically she's like, yeah, it's a flat hike. Like, it's fine. I'm probably not going to wear shoes. And she's like, are you going to wear shoes, Blake? And I was like, feeling like, wow, I haven't really been outside. Like, let's do some grounding, some earthing. Like, I want to wear shoes.
Get the toes dirty.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, big mistake. Oh my gosh. So my feet have never been sore ever before in my life. Like it was volcanic rock for 10 kilometers and basically halfway. It was
like a survivor. It's like a survivor.
Well, it was. My feet have not been that sore since I stood on pegs for 5.5 hours in that final challenge for the first time.
Oh my God. So you basically bruised your whole feet.
Yeah. Just went a bit too hard. Anyway, brother of the story is if you go on a hike in Hawaii, wear shoes, everyone. What a kook. What a kook.
Oh, that is actually really funny. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. I really kooked it. But anyway, got some exercise in and the beach was nice. But then how's this? So we get to the other side and we're so stuffed. And then Kit, our other friend, is just losing her marbles. She's not in a good way. She's basically like crying. And
wait, did her feet were sore?
Because her feet was so, like it was so bad. It was terrible because we had to make it around one way. And then a hike that usually takes 1 hour, it took us 3. And then by that time, we didn't have enough time to get back around before dark and we weren't going to do that hike in the dark. So then we had to call our other friend, Mahalia, to come and drive 2 hours to the west side to come and pick us up. And like during peak hour traffic. Anyway.
Oh my God. Wow. Shout out Mahalia, who's also helps doing our producing work and everything on our cut downs and editing. That is a fucking friend. She drove 2 hours to pick you guys up, you dumb idiots that wanted to go for a hike. I couldn't make it back.
And then
lucky there actually was somewhere to pick you up on the other side. Imagine if you actually went on this hike, got halfway and you're like there was just no other option. You just had to
we would have probably slept the night there, then had to walk back the next day.
I
actually couldn't go on.
Yeah.
I couldn't go on.
I couldn't go on.
No, I'm actually not even kidding you. Like it was terrible. I couldn't even walk the pain.
Wait, was it like the volcanic sharp sort of rock?
Yeah, it was that. And then Kit kept going, just around this bend, I remember it because Kit's done it before. And she's like, and I'm like, bro, you've done this hike before. Like you really stitched us up. Anyway,
oh my God, that's the one thing about hikes, I feel like. You know, I've never been really a hiker. I've never really understood why people love it so much. But then when I went to Switzerland last year, I get why you hike up a mountain because the view is fucking beautiful at the top. But like, what the hell's around that like flat corner that you wanted to get to so bad?
Right.
Well, what was on the other side?
Yokohama Beach is actually on the other side, and it's that really beautiful beach on the west side.
Oh, okay. So there is a reward.
There was a reward, and it was supposed to be the most chill day ever. We're going to go on this beautiful hike for an hour to this secluded beach, put in our earpods and listen to a podcast. What happened? Fucking 3 hours later, knocking on death's door, sore feet, pins and needles, and then a rescue mission.
A rescue mission. Nah, that's so fucking
not well in the head.
When we get back together, when you're back in Sydney, soon, we have grand plans to get some amazing guests on the podcast. We want to even look into getting some studios. I mean, you guys are going to miss this like low-qual vibe of us, but we do have grand plans. But I think this episode we actually just wanted to jump on and say firstly, thank you so much for all of the support, the kind messages, and I guess the love and the energy and just our last episode was so vulnerable, so deep. I think it was hard, for both of us to put that out into the world, and I feel like even I had like anxiety before it was going out, but I think sometimes that's the whole point about what we're doing here is having these hard topics, and in a sense it's helping us heal from like these things, these moments that we've been through in our past, and these I feel like this podcast has been so healing for me and so transformative because I've spoken about this and we've spoken about this and all of these things we've been through together, but then to put it out into the world is such a different thing. And then to have the support from everyone in our community that's listened and written in and just sent us love or just, sent the good energy our way has just meant the absolute world to us.
I guess like it's been really beautiful to hear everyone's experiences and all the DMs that have come through and all the comments that were shared. And I think it's just been reinforcing that we are on the right track here, but getting so vulnerable and being so vulnerable and sharing this side of our life because it like you said, it is a hard thing to do, but it is making a difference. Totally. And I think we're not doing it like a sympathy thing. It's a bid for connection and a bid for people to know that they're not alone and that they're not going through, we're in this together and there are ways to move through this. And I think we encourage you guys to send in stories, but we wanted to share a few of them too, obviously anonymously. But wanted to share those and a few of like the really beautiful comments as well with our listeners.
I think when you hear people open up about things that they've been through, we went through some of these things, 10 to 15 years ago, and we're just, coming out the other side. And I think, my favorite quote for one is your quote flick. Can you say your favourite quote? I can't fucking speak right now. Red eye. I've got the red eye brain. Red eye flight brain.
My favourite quote is don't trade your authenticity for approval. And that just, I think really, it's super powerful, but obviously it speaks volumes to our last episode and obviously everything body image and self and confidence and I know.
And I think one of my favourite quotes as well is the only way out is through. And we have fucking been through it. And we're out the other side. And I think sometimes when you're going through it, it's hard to share and talk about because you are in the depth of it. You're in the belly of this beast and you're trying to it's hard to help others when you're going through it. But I think, if anything, we just want to be able to share. And I have screenshotted these cute-ass quotes or these cute-ass comments from, we'll get to some girls, but I just wanted to firstly share this cute quote from a dad that sent this to me, and he goes, "My daughter and I watched the last podcast, such an important one for young girls, men and women too. She got so much from it, and her hearing these stories because it's coming from people she looks up to, her ears were well and truly open."
Oh,
I was like, that's so cute.
That.
I know.
I love hearing, like, obviously we've got our audience is very heavily skewed towards women, but that is so epic to hear that.
I know.
There's dads and daughters watching.
I know. And then someone wrote in, as a dad and a granddad to girls, thank you. Another amazing ep girls, saving this one for my 9-year-old daughter to listen to in a handful of years.
Wow.
This conversation, it's so cool. The conversations we need to be having, I wish these topics were spoken about when I was a grom, but hearing more open talk about body image and confidence now makes me so happy for the current groms and future generations. Thank you, ladies. And I mean, this is the thing, like I guess if when we were going through what we were going through at the time and got to sort of hear from people in our industry or people we looked up to about, this topic, maybe it could have helped us along the way, but I think we obviously kept it also hidden,
And I think like a lot of we'll get to some of the other messages that were sent in, but a lot of my responses made me think like, and when I wrote back, I was saying a lot of, I wish I had the balls or the ovaries to share and be vocal back then, because it's just crazy. I mean, obviously years and perspective and getting older changes that, but just to echo what you're saying, like I wish, like there were some women, trailblazing and sort of saying, hey, standing up for what was right and wrong. But it's crazy to think that I just feel like there's more of a movement now. And I love being able to use our voice and our platform and hopefully.
I know. And we had so many of our peers as well comment and just be like, wow, this is, so many of our peers just commenting, and then also some of like my idols from the generation before.
Yes.
This was Serena Brooks, and she wrote, "So great to hear you guys speaking about this. I remember being on tour and hearing girls throwing up their dinner in the toilets at event opening parties. It was common to keep contracts. Some girls had a lot of pressure to maintain a skinny look. I never had that issue myself, but felt terrible for the girls struggling with it. There was so much pressure to be a certain look. Such bullshit." And I mean, it's just the pressure and the expectation we spoke about in the last episode. It's just, whether you are in an industry or being an athlete or, in a modelling industry.
A girl growing up in general,
like you said, just a girl growing up. It doesn't matter what you're doing. The expectation, the pressure can come from absolutely anywhere. And all it takes is for someone to just comment on your body in a certain way and not even realise what damage it might do, This is just a topic that is all too close to home for everyone that's got a body, which is everyone.
No, but honestly, I think we leave that in there. You were sounding really good. Have another Pringle, mate. That'll sort you out.
Yum. Okay.
This is first message. Hi, I saw your Q&A, but my answer was a little long, so I'm going to DM it. I hadn't ever struggled with body image until I got a bit older, around 20, and I became insecure about my body and felt all of a sudden unsure of my own identity. And I was trying to fit into a perfect surfer girl mold that would kind of be presented to be perfect. It was so toxic. I felt trapped, feeling like I could never be good enough or skinny enough. I ended up with an eating disorder and pushing my body to its limits to try to fit all this image. And I thought I was just try and be perfect. However, it left me so drained, unhappy and distant from my true self. In the end, it was realizing that life was more important than the way I looked that helped me overcome my body image trap. I realized I was happier just being my true self than being a size 6. My perfect was being perfectly imperfect me. When I start feeling like my body isn't good enough, I remind myself what my body is capable of and not what it isn't. Hope sharing this helps others.
Oh my God, I have like shivers. That is so heartbreaking but beautiful at the same time.
I know.
Oh,
but realizing that life is way more important than trying to fit like a certain mold. And obviously, starting to prioritize your body for what it can do and where it can take you. And I think I think that is sort of one of those things that we were talking about in that last episode, like for me and for you, was like one of the most important things was realizing, hang on a sec, like this body that I'm literally tearing to pieces is literally the very thing that, makes it so I can catch these amazing big waves and gives me the most joy in life. Like I feel like that's such an important message.
And it's so wild, especially like even after me being injured the last like 5 weeks and not being able to move my body and train, I feel rattled that I'm not fit and strong, and that like if I went to paddle the other day and I was like, oh my gosh, like I feel weak and I hate feeling weak. And like it's just, how important it is to nourish your body, but also just like it's all connected, your mental health and your physical health. It's all, as much as you want to push it away, like our mental health was both deteriorating and we were just putting on a happy face when we were, not nourishing and treating our bodies the way they should have been. And just, in a way, kind of just like having a split personality because you put it in the dark, all this stuff that you're doing behind closed doors to yourself, and then you show up with a happy face that no one would know, and you're just like, it's a rattling trap, but it's like, how do you sis for getting through that and being able to, the most important thing is if you're going through this now, love yourself, know that you can get out of there, find the right tools, get the right help, find the psychologists, find the healers that can help you in your journey. And then I think what I struggled with for so long after was the guilt of doing that to myself. And you just need to come to this place in your life where you can say, I love all versions of me. Like I look back at these, like just videos of me being like so out there, or like, drinking too much, or being too much, like too too much, I think, in a way, because I was compensating for how maybe sad I was inside at the time. And I'm like, I still love that girl and I'm still proud of her and I won't feel guilty or
sis.
like that's just like a part of me that you just want to hug them like they're your little sister now and go like, and I think that that's like so important to love all of you, even the part of you that you knew was hurting.
That's really
I want to hug you through the screen right now.
It's really weird doing it separately, isn't it?
I know. Yeah, this one was really beautiful and also okay, I'll just get on with it. So this listener, reader, what do you call them? This deep diver?
Deep diver, our listener.
Okay, yeah. So this listener wrote in and said, thank you for bringing this up. At 41 years old, I've battled with this in recent years, having gained weight from grief, anxiety, exhaustion and motherhood, and feeling in recent years that despite surfing for the last 25 years, that I don't fit the mould or belong because my body has changed and I'm not 52 kilos and toned. It's been pretty shit. As someone who's been on both sides of that coin, it's incredible to see how differently people treat you on both ends of the spectrum. My slightly wobbly bod has given me some pretty insane experiences, got me into some unforgettable waves, and most importantly made two epic little humans, both daughters, one a young teenager who looks up to you both.
Oh, that's so nice.
I know my girls.
It's so
I know
beautiful.
my girls are going to experience these things too, and it's so important to share our experiences and perspective with hindsight and to show girls how epic our bodies really are. Thank you, you sweethearts.
Oh, that is really, really, really beautiful. I think,
Fuck.
I know.
Oh, that is so wild.
Sis.
And it just goes to show, like, it's like our journey is just like, you know, we're going to, like every stage of our life, you know, we're going to keep battling these things with our body image. That it's like, you know, like when we create life and become mothers and our bodies change, it's like just, it is like, it's so important. What she said is just finding a way to love yourself and in every phase of life. And then I guess as well, it brings a whole other thing when you have little daughters that, you know, the last thing you'd want is them for them to feel like this, but you know that it's, you know, in a way inevitable. So it's like talking about this and sharing these stories. And I remember when I came to her and I was just like saying some negative things about my body, and she finally told me, she's like, I used to think the same about my body and like it's okay, you're not alone. And it's just that feeling of knowing that.
I feel like just hearing those words, like I used to feel like this, or I've been through this, all it needs is just those few little words to make you be like, okay, wow, like I'm not the only one going through this, like there is a way out. Like here's the example, my mum right here, like look at her, she's so strong, she's brave, she's powerful, she's had me. Like that, just all it takes is those few words. But that's such a beautiful message. So thank you so much for writing that in.
Oh my God, thank you. Just getting like a bit emotional, hey? Fucking hell.
That's okay. Okay. Hey, Felicity. I love your podcast with Laura. The last episode hit on so many levels for me. Growing up in Perth, I looked up to you and Alana Blanchard. I begged my mum for a G-banger at 15 years old. I'm now 27, and to be honest, I have never felt so supported listening to both of your stories, so thank you. Really crazy to think we were the only ones going through this when we were young. I was body shamed and sexualized, called thunder thighs and quad father, had larger breasts than most girls. Crazy to think of that these things can happen. Can you remember skinny me tea? Like, what the fuck? How bad is that? I would just literally drink that and shit myself. Anyway, it's nice to be coming out the other end of starving myself, eating once or twice a day. Anyways, it's nice to be coming out on the other end of starving myself and only eating once or twice a day, to appreciating my body for its strength. But your episode could not have meant more to me. Really, thank you. I ate my ice cream and really enjoyed it while listening.
Yes, please. Oh, what?
Pop off, eat that ice cream.
Yes, what the fuck was skinny me tea?
You know, when I read this, I was like, oh my God, I forgot about that. And I was addicted to that stuff and I used to drink it like crazy. And that stuff would literally make you shit yourself. I had to...
No, I remember one time I bought this like weird cream from Instagram that was like meant to take like your like stomach cellulite away or some shit. And it burned my fucking belly so much that I had like a burn mark on it. I don't know what the fuck this was called, but I was like rubbing this shit on my tummy, just like, oh yeah, cool, this is meant to be good for you. Like, you know, it's meant to like depuff. It's like a depuffing thing. And I was like, oh my God, this shit burnt my fucking tummy. I had a rash all over. I was like, oh my God, I threw it straight in the bin, was like, that's what you get. I'm actually glad. Like, what were you thinking?
Oh my God, it's crazy. But even imagine like, okay, we're so grateful that the world is changing, but imagine something like that now trying to like launch as a brand. Like that is just so not fucking okay. I can't believe that shit even existed.
Wow.
Fucked.
So
okay.
nuts.
Next one. Should we go into the next one? I've got a voice memo and I asked her if we could play it and she said she'd be happy to, so I can play that one.
Wow.
Should I do that?
Yeah, let's go.
Play it?
Yeah.
Okay. It's quite good. Okay, let's just jump over to Insta. I wonder if you're going to be able to hear it. I think you will. Let's try. Okay. We really should be doing this way more professionally, like plugging it in somehow, but fuck it. Okay. Okay.
Hey, love. I wouldn't normally do this or reach out, but I wanted to say what you guys have recorded is super amazing and so necessary. Having been like a survivor myself of anorexia and since a very small child, I'm now 37. And just cycling through like body dysmorphia and obviously surfing as well and feeling like you're never enough at anything, I can really relate to, and I think it's so necessary to shed light on this because so many people struggle and don't talk about it. For me, after having my little boy, I'm realizing like, wow, I actually am enough. Like seeing him in his complete enoughness, just as who he is, and him completely embodying himself is so beautiful to watch, and kind of realize that was taken from me super young. So trying to work with that feeling of feeling enough again. And I think, yeah, keeping this conversation going is so valuable. So good on you and Laura. I think so nice, and so important to just keep sharing people's conversation and shifting the narrative around this. So nice work, girls. Yeah. And as I said, I normally wouldn't reach out, but I think it's just so valuable what you're doing, and keep it up because the conversation really needs to get out there. Yeah, take care. See ya.
Oh, wow, that is so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Oh, what an absolute, what a gem. I know, it's just, it's so crazy, you know, that whole body dysmorphia and looking at yourself in the mirror and just picking yourself apart. It's just, it's a fucking thing, and it's, you know, it's something that so many people deal with, and to just hear so many beautiful people come through and just not feel alone, you know.
And what she brought up, like a really important point of once you have a child as well, being really mindful of that they don't grow up with those same insecurities, and being mindful of how you come across and what you say. And I guess like eventually we're going to understand that, like hopefully one day when we have our own families. But it's just, thank you so much for sending in that voice memo and for letting us play it. Really appreciate it. And like she was saying as well, I think it's super important that we keep these conversations going. Because it's for people to know that they're not alone.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. I've had so many of so many of my friends as well that have struggled with, you know, eating disorders and body dysmorphia, and then, you know, they fall pregnant and realize, oh my gosh, like my body isn't here as an object. It is here to create life. It is here to do so much more than what it looks like on the outside. And we're just more than our body. Everyone needs to remember that you are more than your body. Your personality and your beauty and your kindness and all of your values and morals and passions in life are more than what you look like. So remember that. It's just, the most important thing. And I think we will keep continuing this topic, and there's so many amazing people that I've had reach out that want to come on and be guests and share their stories and stuff. So I think this will be a massive part, I think, of our podcast. And, you know, it's another form of resilience, right? And I think, like I was saying before, you know, that whole, you know, learning to love yourself as you age as well. There's just so many topics that we want to dive deep into, and that anti-perfectionism.
Next one. I definitely felt this deep, like on the verge of tears. I'm going back 10 to 15 years ago when you guys were starting and coming up, and I idolized both of you and Laura, especially you being a Perth girl. I was a bit of a bigger girl and never fat. I've always just said I'm not fat, I'm athletic. I've always just surfed and surfed and surfed. But it was the puberty blues mentality in high school saying I can't wear bikinis because I didn't look like the girls on tour. What you girls talk about, I watched this happen as an outsider looking in on real time. I remember seeing Laura at the Marks Pro being tiny, and I remember thinking, why can't I look like that? I remember you shrinking and thinking, why can't I be like that? And why can't I surf like that? Why aren't I surfing like these small girls? I had bulimia and I lived in Indo and I hid from everyone. I surfed every day and I wouldn't eat for days. And then I'd calculate if I could earn a binge if I didn't eat for days. It was so shit. I was still a size 8 and still getting told I was big. I'm still not recovered. It's an ongoing battle. And I'm trying to feed myself positive things in life. I'm married with a husband now, though, who's obsessed with my body, and have a beautiful son who I brought into the world, and I still love surfing. I'm strong and it's powerful. And this is why I love you both still so much. Thank you for being so vulnerable, and thank you for opening up.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that one hits, hey.
Far out.
Yeah.
You know what? I think you touched on it before, is like the guilt of knowing the person you were back then. And I feel guilty for influencing girls on, like, it's just like this weird cycle, right? It's mentally like I wasn't okay, but then I just didn't even realize that the effect that would have on younger girls or other women looking up to me at that point in time too. So like even reading that's actually quite confronting, because I feel a sense of guilt there. Like obviously I wasn't well myself, and you weren't as well, but like it's radical to feel a sense of guilt sort of associated with that.
Totally. And then this is from one of our friends who was also, that grew up with us, and she wrote, one of my biggest regrets during my surf career was accepting this kind of behaviour and seeing all of us friends suffer at the same fate, comparing us and defining us to be the skinny, not having athletic wide shoulders body type. Yeah, it's just, like you said, it was, we were all in it together without even, and it was the one thing we never talked about. We probably, we just got to look, and like you said, it's like the guilt is there, but that's what we've worked through, and what we're doing now is a way to just try and make sure this never happens again. And
I feel like it's cathartic in a way, because we're obviously talking about it, but then obviously cathartic knowing that hopefully it touches the right people, and knowing that that isn't okay if you're getting told comments like that about your body. It isn't okay if you're in a workplace where people are telling you that you need to look a certain way. It isn't okay, even just to have those sort of thoughts come into your body, because you are enough just the way you are. Even I just wanted to touch on that again. We had quite a few girls who we've grown up with, and our generation of surfers write in and reshare a lot of our posts as well. So I just wanted to say thank you to them, and also they then obviously shared a little bit of their own story with me or with us and with our Indie page on socials. And it's just so weird what you were saying, Laura, because we literally were all going through the same thing, but no one was sort of brave enough to talk about it or say, hey, I'm not well, things are not okay.
Yeah, totally. I know, far out, absolutely wild times. But yeah, thank you so much to everyone that's written in. And yeah, like we said before, this will be one of our topics that we want to keep talking about. And even though it's hard and emotional, there's just so many people out there that have felt this, and yeah, you're not alone. And I guess if we could maybe something that we could do is put in our show notes, any therapists,
I think resources for therapists,
things that helped us.
If anyone who has listened to this and is either triggered or is either going through it, I just want them to know that there is professional help out there, and we'll put links in the show notes for our listeners, of course, because I think even when I look back to my situation, one of the best things I ever did was get professional help just to help me move through that. It's all very well and true for us to sit here and share our stories, and I hope that does hit home, and I hope it does help in some way, but I really do believe strongly in getting professional help, especially if you have an eating disorder.
Yeah. Do you know what the craziest thing is? Sorry, before we wrap up, it's this thing is can be such a curse and such a what's the opposite to a curse?
A blessing.
a blessing and a
No,
curse.
it can be good and bad. It's got positives and negatives.
But the craziest thing is, like, even since, like, having these conversations with you, obviously with my phone around, like, I've noticed my fucking explore page on Instagram turn into all of these, like, weight loss things. I swear this fucking thing, obviously I feel like everyone knows that it listens, right? You could talk about something and then all of a sudden there's, like, supplements for, like, I mean, I have, like, all these gut health supplements coming up, but then I have, like, so many, like, Fitspo things come up, and then now I've got this, like, castor oil thing to put on your tummy to, like, depuff and detox, and all of these, like, you know, like, cellulite fucking things pop up, and it's just so crazy. Like, you, and then, but like when I was getting married, right, all that was popping up was wedding shit on my phone.
Yeah.
Like, all that was popping up was wedding shit, and it's just, this fucking thing listens. And so just be aware that, like, if you're having a conversation with someone and whatever you're consuming, it's going to keep feeding you these things. And it's like, it's just so crazy that I feel like I've been on my explore page just going, like, oh, looking at what this chick's eating in a day, and, like, and I'm like, what am I doing? I don't care. Like, you're healthy. You've got your own thing going. Don't care about, like, and I know there's so much to be, in a way, there's inspiration there. I love looking at what people are cooking, because one day I want to fucking be able to get in the kitchen and cook.
In 5 years, mate. In 5 years, I can come for a dinner party at Laura Enever's house.
I know. I say to Flick and I say to Jake, I was like, guys, you must be so excited. There's this version of me in the future. It's called Future Laura, that is going to be so good at cooking. You're going to come over and I'm going to have made, like, fucking, I don't know, like, sweet potato nachos, or I don't know, fuck. And, like, a dessert and, like, all this, like, and then, like, this beautiful steak, and it's going to be, like, beautiful.
5 years' time.
But it's going to be 5 years' time. Then I'm going to bake my own bread and shit. Like, it's all going to be there one day, but fuck, maybe not also.
It will be.
It's an idea. But
On that
just don't fucking believe what this shit feeds you. So anyway, that's the phone.
Don't
I was
believe
holding
it.
up the phone.
For anyone listening without video, audio, visual. But on that note, it's dinner time for both of us.
Oh, it's actually bedtime for Flick because it's 6 p.m.
Yes, it is. It literally is.
But
I'm actually going to go upstairs. I'm going to have some sushi. I'm going to get horizontal. I'm going to rot on the couch, and then I'm going to wake up and do it all again tomorrow.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, go
But-
sis. I can't wait to watch you on WSL whenever I'm missing you now. I just go to WSL.com and then put on the fucking Pipe Pro and you're like, ping.
Hello, listen to me talk about
Yeah,
surfing
you're
running.
absolutely smashing it.
Enjoy the wedding, Siso. Can't wait to hear all about it. And enjoy Kauai. I'll wave to you from Oahu.
It was like, I was like taking off today going like, no, we're so close, we're so far. But yeah, love you.
Love you too, and thanks again.
I
to
miss your
everyone for
cooking,
listening.
and
I know you do.
cleaning.
I know. I'm a good cook.
you are. That's like present you. Imagine what future you could be in the kitchen.
Oh, mate, I'm going to be a domesticated goddess.
All right, I'm so glad you're going to live in my town then. How good.
Yeah, I know. Cook dinner parties every Tuesday night. Okay.
All right, we're waffling. Love you
sis.
guys. Bye.
Bye.